Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday evening here with us on our YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, feel free to watch our 3 semesters of free educational videos on the wisdom of Kabbalah. And if you like what you hear, what you see, you can always join like-minded people at our KABU Academy at Kabbalah.info. In the interim, though, we're using this channel to study further every Tuesday evening, and we're going to carry on with selected excerpts as we do every Tuesday. And today we're going to carry on with some excerpts that we started from our last Congress. The topic is Only the Creator Can Help Achieve Lishma. Lishma means to bestow without any self-return. And we're going to continue from excerpt number 4. This is RABASH article number 42. So we've got small excerpts. We'll see what we can learn from each and every one. If you have any questions, as usual, you can shoot them through and we'll try to learn together. A person believes that the Creator does everything, and there's no doubt that the Creator does everything for man's sake. So the descents that he receives, he says that the Creator sent him these states for his own benefit. This gives a person strength not to escape the campaign. Although he does not see that the Creator watches over him, meaning feels that the Creator helps him. Rather, not only is he not advancing in the work, but he has even regressed. Yet, if he believes that the Creator helps him by sending him the descents, then he no longer escapes the campaign. Instead, he says that the Creator does help him, but not in a way that the person understands, meaning in a sense. Rather, the Creator helps him through the sense. This is why this faith makes him stronger, so he does not escape the campaign. Instead, he waits for the help of the Creator and prays that he will have the strength to continue the work until the Creator opens his eyes and he will be rewarded with dvekut, with the Creator. All right, so let's read that again. Excerpt number 4, and we'll take it one sentence at a time. A person believes that the Creator does everything, and there's no doubt that the Creator does everything for man's sake. So the descents that he receives, he says that the Creator sent him these states for his own benefit. Okay, so listen, it's all good, nice and easy, delightful to read. But when you're in the middle of a descent, it's not always that easy to remember, to remind yourself that this is all coming from the Creator for your own good, right? So the things we're reading are one thing, okay? But to get ourselves into that approach with an inner state and an understanding is a whole different ballgame. And if it was as beautiful as a poem like he writes here, okay, we wouldn't have much of a drama, would we? Okay, but we do have drama, so we just have to be a little smart about it, right? So we do get dissents. When we have a dissent, it's obvious when we're in our desire to receive, we're not gonna, feel great about it. Okay, it's not going to be a great feeling. So we have to understand, though, that this is how the creator helps, which is what he's telling us later on, which we're going to get there in a minute. Okay. This gives a person strength not to escape the campaign, although he does not see that the creator watches over him, meaning feels that the creator helps him. So believing in what the sages said is like a psychological compensation. Right? So the Kabbalists said to us, they say to us, listen, you're going to go through some, ups and downs, but it's all for your benefit. All right. So we don't know that. We don't really feel that. So what we have to do is we have to go above reason. Now, above reason means that I want to come to a state where the Rav is, okay, where Rabash is, okay, and I want to see the situation from where he's writing it, okay. Right now, I'm not there. So when we're going through descents, we're in a bad mood, okay, we're heavy, we feel bad, and so on. However, though, the way to progress is that to believe in the sages, which is to trust that they went through the same path. Okay. And that's going above reason. It's not called blind faith, because if you're in blind faith, it's a different ballgame. Blind faith means I blindly believe that this is how it is. Okay. Faith above reason, if you want to go above reason, you want to attain where he's writing from, despite the fact that when you're going through a descent, you're feeling pretty bad about it. You understand what I mean? So we're not lying to ourselves. On the one hand, I feel bad because I'm in a descent, okay? And I don't understand why the creator put me in such a state. On the other hand, I'm taking recommendation and advice from a sage to raise myself, to try to raise myself, okay, into that state. Rather, not only is he not advancing in the work, but he has even regressed. Yet, if he believes that the Creator helps him by sending him descents, then he no longer escapes the campaign. Right? So, as we progress, we've studied this on many occasions. As a person progresses in spirituality, he feels like he's going backwards. He doesn't feel like he's progressing. He feels like he's going the other way. He's saying, "Well, I'm becoming a worse person every day. I'm becoming badder and badder." Okay. And that's exactly how it is, because he's revealing more and more of his coarseness. Accordingly, he's getting closer to the truth. And if he's getting closer to the truth, he's advancing. We're not advancing in spirituality according to how good we're feeling. We measure the advancement according to the truth that I see. Okay. So I couldn't see yesterday that I had this evil inclination, but today I see I have an evil inclination. That is progress. It's not going backwards. It's going backwards in my feelings, but rationally it isn't. And then, if I begin to understand that this is the path, then I can say, well, the Creator is helping me, but, it's not quite like the way I'd like to get help. Okay. But, we're getting some help here. Okay. Because we're beginning to see the truth. It's like going to the doctor, right? He tells you, listen, you're seriously sick, but you're lucky because it's on its early phases and we can fix it. So on the one hand, you're feeling pretty bad. On the other hand, you're glad you got a diagnosis because you didn't know what was going on with you for the past 6 years or 6 months, whatever. All right. So we have to understand that things are like weighed equally on the bad and the good side. All right. So there's a balance out here. We just have to get the right perspective. Rather, the Creator helps him through descents. This is why this faith makes him stronger, so he does not escape the campaign. Instead, he waits for the help of the Creator and prays that he will have the strength to continue to work until the Creator opens his eyes and he will be rewarded with dvekut, with the Creator. So, going through numerous, or shall I say, never-ending descents, because it seems to a person like it's never going to end. Okay. And when he gets to that, he feels like he's got no other choice, that this is just how it is until the Creator helps him open up his eyes or change his heart or change his nature, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So we have to get used to all this descent business. And the sooner we get used to it, the better, obviously. Okay. How can we get used to it? Well, if we start to understand, right, that this is how the path is. If I have an understanding about how things are, then I can say, okay, this is how it is. This is gravity. If I slip, I'm going to fall. Okay, so we have an understanding here. Right? It's the same thing. I have an understanding. I understand this is how it is, and now I can move forward. Okay, you can't change gravity, so there's no use complaining about it. Okay? So the better thing to do is to get your head around it. Excerpt number 5. Well, there was a question from last week from Ingrid. Right, so let's do that before we go on to question number 5. Last week, Ingrid asked, what should one ask from Rav? Can one ask Rav for Lishma? Well, on many occasions, I've heard the Rav say that you must all turn to the Creator. Okay, because Rav cannot change our nature, can he? Right? So the Creator can only change our nature. So it's important to understand here that a person has to just turn to the Creator. Obviously, the Rav is very important for all of us. Okay, because Rav's like dad. You ask him everything. You're always trying to find the best way, the better way, how you can move forward, and so on. So it's always great to have the Rav holding our hands, and that's just how it is. But just like in reality, right? I can't do my child's homework for him, can I? It's just not going to happen. So every child has to do their own homework. And if they need support, if they're struggling with a lesson, we help them out, right? And that's what the Rav does. He helps us out, okay, when we're struggling. But at the end of the day, the child has to go through this stuff. And there is no other way, okay? So same here with us. And the person has to therefore do the work and come to a state where he needs to turn to the Creator, just like he or she would turn to his parents. But there's one thing the Rav cannot do, but the Creator can, and that's for us to change our nature. That only he can do. Ramesa is asking, why does a person often feel in the shadow and behind his friends? For example, they're moving forward and the person himself is standing still. That's always the case. You can never match the group. It's the same feeling when you can never match the Rav. No matter what you do, you always feel like you can never match what he's doing. Yeah, I've felt it on myself on numerous occasions. It's true. All right, so if you did, you'd stop working. When you feel you're always behind, you start to look for a place where you can add to your work. Okay. And if I wasn't looking and searching, we wouldn't have all these lessons and all these programs 7 times a week. Hmm. So you have to check every time towards the group, towards the Rav, where can I add? Where am I still lacking a place to add? Okay. This is why you can't run in front of the group. You'll never, if you study right, you will always feel like you are behind the group, always lagging behind. Now then, Digital Bread is asking, does the creator have the ability to change its mind? Like, is the creator aware of itself? If the creator was to change his mind, then we can't really say that the creator is perfect, can we? If I made a decision, if the Kabbalists are saying that the creator is perfect and he made a plan, which is a perfect plan, that's what they're saying. Don't look at me, right? Then we can't say that he can change his mind, because if you change his mind, it's like, oh, I messed up here, so I'm going to change my mind. Let's do this differently. Okay. The reason you can't do that in such a thing like creation is because it would be an experiment, all right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know cause and consequence. So then you're experimenting. So we can't really say the creator is experimenting. Why we can't say that? Because the laws of nature are unbending, right? So if we saw in nature that laws of nature were changing all the time, or they were flexible, then we'd say, you know what, the creator doesn't really know what he's doing because everything's changing all the time. Okay. But the laws of nature are not changing. Only I'm changing, right? With life and the things that I'm going through, I'm changing. The way I see, feel, understand, those are changing. But the laws of nature are not changing. So the creator isn't changing. We're changing. So he can't change his mind, which is good for us. If he did, we would never be able to get it right, because you'd never know if a change was going to come again or not. Okay. So imagine you never you can never know what's going to happen next. So what you got no benchmark. You understand what I mean? So you have to have an anchor, like a north point, right? You understand that's north and that's the path. And if you're swaying around, you're going to have some kind of, you know, that a compass that's showing you north all the time. Okay, so you can adjust yourself. So if the creator was changing his mind all the time, that would be very, very tragic for us. Let's see. Excerpt number 5. Come on to Pharaoh. To keep from losing what he's given, one must first make great efforts, for something that comes to a person through labor causes him to keep the thing and not lose it. But during the exertion, when a person sees that the work is still far from finished, he sometimes escapes the campaign and falls into despair. At that time, he needs great strengthening to believe that the Creator will help him, and the fact that help has not arrived is because he has not given the required quantity and quality of labor for preparing the deficiency in order to receive the filling. As it is said, and if one practices Torah and fails, to remove the evil inclination from himself. It is either that he has been negligent in giving the necessary labor and exertion in the practice of Torah, as it is written, I have not labored, but not found, do not believe, or perhaps one did not, or perhaps one did put in the necessary amount of labor, but has been negligent in the quality. All right, so let's read that again. To keep from losing what he's given, one must first make great efforts, for something that comes to a person through labor causes him to keep the thing and not lose it. Okay, this is a very important principle. This is why, we always say we should put a lot of effort into the work. Because if I invest a lot, it's much harder for me to run away because I've done so much. You see what I mean? It's like you built a house. On the outside, it's all done. You just have to do the inside. And you're saying, you know what? Just leave it and go. Okay. So if you invest a lot of effort, it's hard to leave. So the Kabbalists are saying that it's good to make a lot of effort. You won't want that effort done in vain. But during the exertion, when a person sees that the work is still far from finished, he sometimes escapes the campaign and falls into despair. Now, this does happen often. All right? It happens to a lot of people. When we start the path, it's all very exciting because we've found answers to our questions about life. And obviously, we're all intrigued, motivated. We have a drive to continue and to discover these things. And as we get more and more into the study, it dawns on us that this is going to be like a lifelong journey, right? So it's not going to be like I'm going to be in, I don't know, 2 years in college or 4 years in college, and then, I'm ending up on the other side of spirituality and I'm thinking everything is great. Now I'm on top of the world. It's just, it starts to dawn on a person that, this is just going to take a while. Okay. When I say a while, a while. And we must treat that as normal because a regular person doesn't grow overnight. Anyone who's got kids understand that this is a process. It's taking years to raise them. By the time you make something out of them, they're in their 20s. And then you're hoping and praying they'll leave home and do their own thing and give you a break. So you understand it's a process. Same with us. And we have to kind of once again, understand that these are laws of nature. I can't, plant a seed or, I don't know, I can't plant a seed and go there tomorrow and check out if it's growing or not. You got to give it time. You have to give it time. You got to look after it. It's going to take time. So same with us. And if a person doesn't understand that, which our nature has difficulty in understanding because we want everything yesterday. We want everything yesterday. We want everything quick and good, and that's it. But unfortunately, life isn't like that. Life requires a person to do very boring things consistently with discipline over a long period of time to be successful. If a person wants to be successful in life, they have to do a series of boring, monotonous, let's say, work over and over and over again. And it takes a long time before they see results. Same if you go to the gym. You're not going to shape up in a week. You're not going to shape up in a month. You're going to shape up, well, maybe depending on your situation and how consistent and disciplined you are, you're going to start looking into something and you're going to see a little bit of change after 3 months. Okay, I should know. I've done it a few times. Takes 3 months until you start to feel like, hey, this is working. Okay. Then you give another 3 months and you think, well, the first 3 months was better than the second 3 months. Why? Because the more you lose, the more harder it gets to lose the remaining body fat. You know what I mean? So it keeps getting harder and harder. And if you keep pushing for a year, then you see results because you've been going in and out and in and out with your food, your exercising, your routine, your sleep, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. So spirituality is no different. But if you think about it, we're talking about a full change of human nature. And in order to want to change our nature, we have to kind of discover the whole depth of darkness that we're in our egos, in our self-love and ego. And that discovery, until a person really discovers what he really is, it's time consuming. At that time, he needs great strengthening to believe that the Creator will help him. And the fact that help has not arrived is because he has not given the required quantity and quality of labor for preparing the deficiency in order to receive the filling, as it is said in the introduction to the study of the 10 Sifrot. And if one practices Torah and fails to remove the evil inclination from himself, it is either that he has been negligent in giving the necessary labor and exertion in the practice of Torah, as it is written, I have not labored but found, do not believe, or perhaps one did put in the necessary amount of labor but has been negligent in the quality. So we have to understand that it's the same example again, right? So I'm going to the gym and I don't see any results, and I check if I ate anything crazy along the way. And then I discover I had fish and chips in the middle of the week, and then a big cake on Friday night, hung out with the guys on Saturday night. And so the whole week at the gym went down the drain. It's basic maths. Same here. So I have to have some kind of a measurement on discipline, how I'm doing, what I'm doing, why I'm doing, and all those things need to strengthen me. Now, to strengthen ourselves on our own is not possible. We need a team, right? And if you got a team like your 10, you can call it dream team if they're good, then every time you're in a descent, you can like move on, you can get out of it. If you're lacking, if you're slack, and if the 10 is slack, then well, it's a bit of a drama then, isn't it? Having a strong environment is the most important thing. Ingrid is asking, hello, can we know for sure that we are bestowing or we are just trying? In life, if I'm really doing something, I know about it. Like I'm drinking coffee right now. I know about it. Mm. So same in spirituality. When a person is doing something, they know what they're doing, with what intention they're doing, and how much that is benefiting the creator or not. Otherwise, we'd be like mindless if we couldn't calculate that. Okay. So we have to, in spirituality, we actually are much more realistic in our actions, intentions, and how we do things than we are in corporeal reality. Right. And if we didn't know for sure, then it's a problem, right? So we have to absolutely attain bestowal and be very clear in all our actions and intentions and desires on it. Digital Bread's asking, what should we think about along this process? When reading and engaging in the group, should we use our imagination and simulate as if we are bestowing to the Creator when we receive the wisdom? Most important thing is before the study, I think about why I study. So everything I should be doing in preparing myself before the study. Okay. And during the study, I should want the study to impact me, affect me, influence me internally. That means I'm studying with a desire to change. Okay. I'm studying with a desire to get some nourishment from the study. So all the preparation should be before the lesson. And with the things that I'm learning, I should process it in me if I'm going through things related in the text. If we're reading something and I can't relate to it, right, in any way, in terms of experience, feeling, sensation, thought, if it's like completely new to me, it's like I can't relate to it, then I need to exercise the process at an intellectual level with an understanding that this information later on down the line will be useful to me. Okay. So in fact, I'm not going through this emotional, I don't know, let's do an example together, right? Right. So let's see what he's written here. During the exertion, when a person sees that the work is still far from finished, he sometimes escapes the campaign and falls into despair. All right. So, for example, if I don't feel like, I don't feel like I'm far from the work, I feel like very motivated, I'm right in there, I'm in there, I'm running. Okay. So I don't really feel like I want to escape. Quite to the contrary. Let's say I really want to push more, add more, do more, I'm hyped up. If that's the case, then obviously I'm not going to be feeling despair or wanting to escape at that time, right? And so I don't really relate to it. Well, what does he mean? During the exertion, when a person sees that the work is still far from finished, he sometimes escape. Well, I don't see that yet. I'm like, all over it. I'm reading, listening, enjoying it, pushing, and so on. So how should I relate to it if I'm not going through that or if I haven't gone through it? So I have to think to myself, well, wait a minute. Although I'm all excited and I'm like stepping on the gas and it's this 4x4, I'm roaming through, going over all the obstacles. There might come a time when I might run out of juice. And so now I have to start thinking a little bit. So if I'm doing all this effort that I'm doing now, in the future, there might come a time that I might feel despair because I didn't get anything after all the effort that I put into it. So that should be at the back of my mind somewhere. You understand what I mean? So if I'm going through an excerpt and I can't really relate to it at an emotional level, I have to kind of like open up my antennas, right? And start thinking, okay, I've got to just make sure I keep this at the back of my mind somewhere. It's like your parent giving you an advice, okay, when you're young, right? So they give you an advice and you're thinking, what's that all about? Okay. Because you haven't gone through that yet. Okay. Because you're still like in your teens, running around thinking you know everything about life. But it sticks in your head somewhere. And then one day you go through something in life in your later years and you go, oh, dad said about that. Okay. Then it's like, then you know what to do about it. You understand what I mean? So we've got to like take on board what we're studying and we can relate to it in two ways. If I read something and I emotionally resonate with it, then I have to use now my mental faculties to evaluate the situation, to evaluate my emotional situation, and to use the article as an advice from an experienced person who's already walked the path and utilize it in such a way that I can now overcome this emotional, let's say, I don't know, strain and move forward. All right, does that make sense? Okay. And if I'm not there emotionally yet, in the future, if I'm still working and if I'm pushing forward, trust me, you will get there. Okay. Eda is asking, uh, wait a minute, where am I? Okay, Ingrid's asking, so why doesn't one bestow and can't even think about in that direction? Well, because because our nature is completely reception. It's not bestowal. Our nature is complete reception. So all we want to do is receive. Even when we bestow to someone, it's because we have a self-benefit. Let's say I did you a favor, right? I'm thinking, oh, if I do a favor to Ingrid, I'll feel good about myself. So am I doing you a favor? Am I doing me a favor? I feel like I feel like a good person. It's like very self-gratifying, isn't it? Very self-fulfilling. Even the good things we do in life are often either to escape from its shame of not doing something or because we get fulfillment by doing it. Eda is asking, should a person appreciate their own efforts or should they constantly find shortcomings in their work? You don't want to be specifically, like shortcomings should naturally pop up when I make an effort. All right. So if I'm working, then I should discover shortcomings. If I work and like kind of like run in advance, then I can see those shortcomings along the way, and that's fine. Okay. We don't work specifically to find the shortcomings. We're always working towards the good, right? So we always want to work towards bestowal, love of others, integrating with everybody with love and bestowal. That's always the attitude. The reason we want to do that is because that's the state we want to attain. Okay. But it doesn't mean we're there, right? We're acting as if we like each other, we care about each other, as if we love each other. It's all as if. It's called a game, but we're not there yet. So, as we play this game of Kuchi Muchi, then we're going to see things inside of us that are like against bestowal. Okay. And those shortcomings should pop up inside of us. We should be aware of them. Okay. So we should be with the help of the environment, like awake towards them when they pop up. All right. So you should notice them. And it's like, I tried to love this person and now I feel like this. Okay. I tried to bestow and I tried to give a little bit more effort and now this happened. Okay. So now am I going to work with this? What am I going to do with this? Because you should make an action, and if it's the right one, it should give you a feedback, a reaction. Then it's like this ping pong, right? It's like you're playing tennis with the creator. You do something, he does something. You do something, he does something. So you begin to move with the rhythm that way. Okay. This is why adding to the work is important. Quality, quantity, like he says in the excerpt. Mahir's asking, in the article, when the Creator says to Moses, come to Pharaoh, is he trying to make us feel that we're not alone? Is the Creator also with us? Well, absolutely. He wants to go to Pharaoh. I know he wants to go to Pharaoh. Moses ran away from him in the first place. Okay, so he definitely doesn't want to go to Pharaoh. And he's got no power against the Pharaoh. All right, he's just a shepherd. Pharaoh, he's got armies, he's got all kinds of bodyguards. And so there is no way Moses is going to take care of Pharaoh on his own. He can't. No, but nobody can defeat the evil inclination inside themselves. It's not possible. And we don't like to face it. This is why we run away. This is why a lot of people go through the descent, like he says here. A lot of people want to run away from the work. Okay, why? Because they feel bad. Okay, everybody comes to spirituality and they want to feel good. Everybody wants a pair of wings, start flying straight away, and that's it. And in the wisdom of Kabbalah, it's like, well, you're not flying anyway. So if you want to see the truth, you understand the truth is ugly. And nobody wants to face it. So Moses also doesn't want to face Pharaoh. He's scared of the Pharaoh. Okay. So the Creator has to help us out. There is no other way. But if he didn't come to that state, he wouldn't need the Creator. Right? So come on to Pharaoh is also a sign that Moses feels that he needs the Creator. And this is the vessel that we need to work on. Okay? So we need to build a kli, a vessel, which means a vessel for the need for the Creator. Okay? Digital Bread's asking, I mean, what other possible way can we measure bestow other than being aware of the purpose or the reason behind our choices and actions? It seems like suffering is inevitable. Suffering is always inevitable because if there wasn't suffering, you'd never move forward. Nobody can move without suffering. If we didn't feel bad, why would we move? Even when I'm sitting on the chair, even when I'm making a movement on the chair, it's because it feels bad and I feel like I need to adjust myself to a better position. Everything in life is suffering. Every movement we do is because of suffering so that we can get to a better state. What does that tell you? So suffering is like a pushing force of development. We cannot measure bestowal unless we can bestow. I can measure the amount of food I can eat because I'm a vessel of reception. So I understand, this is what I can eat. This is what I can drink. I can measure it because I'm reception and I've got vessels to receive. If I had a vessel of bestowal, then I'd say, I can bestow this much. Okay. So it's all about all the measurements of receiving, bestowing, how much, why. It all depends if you got the vessel to bestow and the vessel to receive. So that's how you can measure it. Radio, so it's 8:45. Let's call it a night. We'll carry on as usual. Let's get ready for Pesach in our tens. All right, push forward a little bit more, and hopefully we'll get through it. All the best. Have a good night. See you next time.